Welcome to today's Explainer. Today, we're peeling back the layers on how real academic truth is actually established, breaking it down right from its deepest roots. In an era where misinformation spreads like wildfire, understanding exactly where genuine facts come from is absolutely critical. When AI and social media algorithms can literally generate fake data in seconds, being able to trace the rigorous origins of actual knowledge isn't just some dusty academic exercise, it's a fundamental survival skill for modern society. So let's demystify research and take a close look at the modern quest for truth. Okay, let's shatter a huge myth right off the bat. Simply downloading a PDF, collecting some basic information, or Googling a summary is absolutely not research. It's incredibly easy to confuse data gathering with actual research. For example, if you spend an afternoon compiling a list of facts from Wikipedia about a city's population growth, you're merely gathering data. But if you take those facts and discover the underlying socioeconomic trends connecting them to predict future housing shortages, now that is research. It's a deep, systematic, and highly intellectual process meant to generate completely new understanding, not just echo what's already out there. So here's our fascinating roadmap for today. We're going to quickly cover what research is, its main objectives, the characteristics of good research, science versus humanities, the limitations of research, and finally, academic integrity. Let's start with our outermost layer. Section 1, what is research, and what does this concept truly mean beneath the surface?
The etymology behind the word itself is actually super interesting because it reveals this beautiful duality. In Sanskrit, the root word is shud, which means to purify, to search, or to reach the truth. And on the flip side, the English word research derives from the French recher, which literally means to search again. I love this historical context because it proves the scientific method isn't just a one-off chore. It's a continuous, never-ending journey to purify knowledge. You search, you find an answer, and then you search again to refine that answer, constantly inching closer to absolute accuracy.
There's a massive gulf between general study and actual research. General study is descriptive, right? It's quietly reading, summarizing existing information, and basically just accepting it. But blindly accepting descriptive facts without any critical thought can become a huge societal problem. If we only ever describe what currently exists, we never question if it's flawed or outdated. Research, on the other hand, is intensely analytical. It starts with a specific problem, deeply analyzes the data, and works to create completely new conclusions. It's literally the difference between just reading the map and actually charting new territory. Moving a layer deeper, we arrive at Section 2, the main objectives of research. Basically, why investigators put in all this intense effort in the real world. So the primary objective is, of course, advancing continuous knowledge. But practically speaking, social science research tackles massive real-world issues, like poverty and economic inequality, with hard, concrete evidence, not just emotion. Think about a scenario where poverty metrics are poorly researched. A local government might rely on those flawed metrics and end up misallocating millions of dollars, completely missing the people who actually need it most. That's what's at stake here. Rigorous research forms the actual foundation for government health and education policies, turning raw data into life-saving interventions. So how is this vital work actually conducted without it just devolving into guesswork? Well, that brings us to Section 3, the characteristics of good research. Real research is completely organized and systematic, generally following 3 foundational steps. First up is problem identification. And this isn't just pointing out something bad. It's about isolating a very specific, testable variable inside a massive web of societal noise. Next is data collection, where the investigator actively gathers measurable evidence. And finally, we hit the conclusion, which must be logically connected strictly to the data. This requires absolute objectivity, which, let's be honest, is often the hardest part. You have to step back, put your ego aside, and let the truth present itself neutrally, even if it goes against what you hope to find. And building on that objectivity, true intellectual courage isn't found in just repeating old facts. It requires a highly critical mindset to challenge established rules and spot their hidden flaws. An outstanding investigator looks at what everyone else accepts as totally normal and asks, but is this actually true, or is it just what we've always been told? It takes immense bravery to stand up to the academic status quo and present data that contradicts a universally accepted paradigm. That courageous friction, that is the essential engine of all human progress. All right, Section 4, Science versus Humanities, and how these different branches go about hunting for truth. There is such a stark contrast between these disciplines.
In the natural sciences, you've got a chemist working in a highly controlled, clean lab environment. They manipulate variables to find absolute universal truths, like gravity, which is the exact same whether you're in Tokyo or New York. But the humanities and social sciences? They focus on human society and shifting cultures. This is a noisy, messy environment that you absolutely cannot put in a test tube. The humanities researcher acts as an active interpreter in an ever-changing landscape where truth is incredibly dynamic. I mean, just look at how the world viewed workplace labor rights 100 years ago compared to today. Human behavior evolves, and research has to evolve right alongside it.
But pursuing dynamic truth in human society is messy, which brings us to Section 5, the limitations of research and the boundaries of truth. Look, because the researcher is a living, breathing part of the society they're studying, achieving 100% neutrality is practically impossible. We all have blind spots. Investigators also face massive hurdles like incomplete historical sources. Sometimes we literally only hold half the puzzle. Then there are shifting meanings in language. When older texts are translated, crucial cultural context gets totally lost. Add to that the very real social or political pressures that often dictate what gets funded in the first place. But here's the thing. A mature academic doesn't try to sweep these hurdles under the rug. By openly acknowledging these limitations, they build massive trust with the public. Finally, we reach the deepest core of our layered journey, Section 6, academic integrity. This right here is the moral backbone required for this entire ecosystem to survive. We really need to clear up a massive misconception regarding plagiarism. Most people assume it's just lazily copying and pasting words from an article. But true plagiarism, intellectual theft, is so much deeper and far more insidious. Stealing someone's entire thought process, their unique structural ideas, or their specialized analytical methods without giving them proper credit is a severe intellectual crime. It's the theft of how someone fundamentally thinks, not just the characters they typed on a keyboard. It literally robs the original creator of their analytical genius. And a lack of academic integrity has catastrophic downstream effects. Like the quote says, it is literally poisoning the well of knowledge for future generations. Think about how knowledge is built. One study is cited by 10 others, which are then cited by hundreds more. If that foundational research is stolen or entirely fabricated, the whole tradition collapses. You end up with a massive web of societal policies built on a complete lie. In this line of work, integrity isn't just a nice option, it's an absolute necessity. So if you take away just one thing from this explainer, let it be this. Research is far from a boring, mechanical chore. When done right, it is an empowering, highly ethical journey. It's a precise tool designed to understand human reality deeply, to uplift the voices of the oppressed, and to actively improve our world by providing the sturdy, truthful foundation we need. Honestly, it is the absolute best mechanism we have for making sense of a complex, chaotic universe. Because true research never really ends. A great investigation successfully answers old mysteries while inevitably birthing entirely new ones. So we want to leave you with this final, provocative thought to ponder today. In this incredibly dynamic, ever-shifting academic world of ours, what should our next question be? Keep learning, keep thoroughly evaluating the evidence around you, and most importantly, never stop asking that next great question.